Welcome back to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. We're back talking about Wizkids Dungeons & Dragons Attack Wing. So for those who don't know what the game is, it's a miniatures game where you build a force based off some points. You might fight a scenario, and it's based off of Dungeons & Dragons by Wizards of the Coast. So there's the main game, and then there's all these expansions that are, they have come out or are coming out. They've already planned through Wave 10 expansion. So Wave 3 has hit the shelves this week, and it consists of 3 releases. The expansions are 3 releases, at least through Wave 10. It includes a Harpy, the Silver Dragon, and the Wyvern. So we're going to open them up. We're going to check out what comes inside each item, and talk about what you get. So first, I think we're going to talk the Silver Dragon. So we, back in the day when these Wave was announced, made some predictions as to what we think we might expect for the Silver Dragon, based off of the Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual. So directly from that, I said that the Silver Dragons are some of the most social of the metallic dragons. They're cheerfully assist good creatures in need, and so my thought would be is to expect a lot having to do with good creatures and giving bonuses and having items for other good creatures. They also have an affinity for humans, so though there aren't really humans yet in the game, I'd expect them coming out, so maybe this will kind of be the precursor to that. So let's crack it open and actually go through and see what is in there. So basically the way you play the game is you have all these miniatures. Miniatures cost points, so you figure out how many points you're going to play, and you build your army, and then you can either just fight it out or you play different scenarios. So you got some great options, and what's nice with every single expansion, you get more scenarios that you can play to walk it through. And then they also have a monthly organized play so that you can go to your local store and play for various prizes, which is a great way to get people to come back and play over and over and over again and actually be social. So let's check out what we get here. First, let's look at the model itself. For those who have seen these videos know I absolutely hate these clamshells. I think they are massive pains in the butts to open up and get into, but it is what it is. Let's get the figure out. First, take a look at it. So the first thing that kind of stood out to me is the pose is pretty cool. I mean, there's only so much you really can do with dragons. The folks at Wizkids seem to kind of enjoy this sort of flying, outstretched pose. The thing that really kind of stands out is it's very silvery. I know that sounds stupid to say, but what's interesting is the paint is a little bit inconsistent, at least for this one. I don't know if you can see it. There's some shading kind of on this one. There's shading on the body. But on this wing, shading's kind of missing. There's a little bit at the edge, and there's like a little bit underneath, but when you compare the two wings, it's kind of very different. With some shading here and not so much there. So it's the first figure I'm going to say the sculpt is decent. The face is kind of cool. But overall, with the paint, I expected maybe a little bit more. I know metallics are really, really difficult. I used to paint for miniatures myself. But still, you can see that there's just paint missing, it looks like. So I don't know if this is consistent for everything, but at least on this one, it definitely has some issues when it comes to the shading. So overall, I'd say a little bit of a miss. But let's actually go through and open up to see what you get. So first I talked about how there are adventures and scenarios in every single one. So this is the adventure. It's adventure 5.3, Needle in the Eye. And the first thing that stands out is the dragon comes with this giant circle with the chain. I'm going to guess the dragon might be, like, attached to it, possibly. So that is going to be for this scenario. I'm really hoping Wizkids figures out other ways to add these items to the main game. I would love to see more use for those scenario items. We've got the usual bunch of tokens for you to add to your collection, and of course the bases and the movements and all of that. And then we get a whole bunch of cards. So let's first check out the dragon itself to keep those. So the dragon, oh, we're missing one of the dragon cards. There we go. So dragon is a costly beast. It's pretty beefy though, so you get two versions. There's 37 points, which is a lot of points to put towards a figure. Level 6, and then a 57 pointer. I'm pretty sure that's the highest point so far of any figure. The movement for flight is too bad. You get, it's really flying. It can go pretty fast, pretty far, which is cool. Is not really hurting a whole lot for banking. Can't reverse, which is kind of a bummer. But really, it's only negatives when it comes to actual flight is when it goes to like a hard right or hard left at that 90 degree. Movement, kind of similar, very slow, but at least it can actually move backwards on the ground. So in other words, this is a figure that you're flying across the board and making a run for it, and then maybe banking down the road. It can easily cross the board and catch up, so that's kind of helpful. So the figure itself, really beefy. 5 attack, it's got 7 life or 9 life, 2 shields, 3 shields. It's going to take a hell of a lot of damage. The ancient silver dragon, named Vaka. After Vaka moves, she may choose one other friendly creature within range 1 to 2. That creature may immediately perform an action on its action bar as a free action. So it's pretty cool. So kind of what we're... our prediction's right. I said that I'd expect a good creature who gives bonuses to other good creatures. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. It is giving a bonus to one of its allies. Its tail is actually a little bit more of a distance for attacking versus the bite. So you're going to kind of have to get in there and do some maneuvering a little bit to get the best attack. But it's going to be able to take some beefy damage getting up there. So let's actually check out all the cards too that you get with this. So we've got 2 spells. First is, we'll go with the cheaper one, Dimension Door. So it costs 6, and you discard this upgrade to move your creature and all associated tokens to a new position anywhere within the play area that is not overlapping another creature or obstacle. May also change altitude and face any direction. Afterwards, you receive an exhaustion token. You cannot attack this round. That's that's basically like a teleport thing. With a creature with that many attacks and that much damage, imagine taking the spell, throwing them off into another part of the board, and then taking the damage for 1 round, and then just delivering a massive attack right back. So that's pretty cool. Next we've got, for cost 7, Time Stop. I mean, both of these are pretty costly things. You have to be a level 17, so that means Vaka is, I think about it, I can't think off the top of my head if there's other 17 ones, but that doesn't matter. So you cannot attack. No other creature in the game can choose a maneuver, move, change altitude, perform actions, attack, or receive damage from any source. The only time countdowns that are removed during the end phase are those on this card, and on any of your upgrades that do not have continuous effects. When playing an adventure that involves removing a token at the end of each round, do not remove those tokens while this effect lasts. When this effect ends for any reason, discard this card. So, yeah. So basically, you cannot attack. No other creature in the game can choose a maneuver, move, change altitude, perform actions, attack, or receive damage from any of these. So again, we've got like another movement spell. Basically, you're going to cast this, move whatever you need to, and then with the creature, and then everyone else is kind of screwed around. So you have two basic spells that are all about moving your creatures around. So it's clearly they're giving you a hint as to what you should be doing with these. So alright, so let's go with the cards we got for the dragons. We've got Cold Breath. That depends on what your dragon costs. Your primary attack value, increase the range to 3. In your forward arc, this attack penetrates armor. Normally, the forward arc for the Silver Dragon, for the Silver Dragon's only 2, so kind of helpful. A Monocle of Twitching Tail, it's a campaign artifact, which the campaign we've talked about. You disable the affected creature cannot make tail attacks during the planning phase. If the affected creature is in the air, it can only choose a forward, bank left, or bank right maneuver. When this effect ends for any reason, discard this card. So now you're looking at a creature, basically you can maybe force it off the board, and it can't really do a whole lot. So you're screwing around with movement again. So clearly we've got a theme going on with this pack, a lot to do with movement. Next we've got Wing Attack. Attack one creature at range 1 to 2 that is not in your forward or rear arc. During this attack, roll a number of attack dice equal to your primary weapon value divided by 2, rounded up. This attack is considered a primary weapon. Must be a dragon with a large base to equip. Wing Attack. So basically we've got basically it will help the Silver Dragon do even more damage. So it means it'll be doing 3 attacks with its wing because it's divided by 2, rounded up. Its attack is 5. Divide by 2 puts you at 2.5, round up, you're at 3. So now you're looking at 3 attacks from its primary weapon from folks range 1 to 2. That's actually a really, really cool one. Human Paladin. What did we say? We said that there is an infinity for humans when it comes to Silver Dragons. We've got the Human Paladin. So right now, we're 2 for 2. So upgrade and make a 3-dice attack against one creature range 1 to 2 in your forward arc. This is considered a primary weapon attack. This is a free attack that does not count as your 1 attack for this round. Must be a good dragon with a large base to equip. You cannot equip another Dragon Rider upgrade. So this is a Dragon Rider. It's exactly what we said that we expected for the Silver Dragon. We called it. Very proud. Thumbs up on that one. Nailed it. I believe that's the term. Nailed it. And then finally we've got Paralyzing Breath. And each affected creature receives a paralysis token. See the reference card. When this effect ends for any reason, discard this card. Its cost is +5 for non-silver dragons. Cost 6 with a range 3. The paralysis. Just drop the card. Paralysis allows you, if a creature in the air receives a paralysis token, it immediately lands. The creature must then roll 2 attack dice and sustain damage from all the hits. The creature does not roll defense dice or use armor to deflect this damage. So crash. The affected creature cannot move or plan a maneuver during the planning phase, and the affected creature cannot change altitude, perform actions, or attack, nor can it roll any defense dice. So I'm seeing a lot of the cards and based around movement and basically like shutting down the other players' movements or certain creatures' movements or abilities or attacks. So you basically got like a beast of a figure here that you're going to go in, you're going to shut down the other player and just go in and do tons of damage with it. Really, really cool. So overall, if that's your type of thing of screwing with the other player and then going in for the beatdown, you're going to probably want to get the Silver Dragon. Again, really costly though. Figures, kind of so-so. I don't know if it's consistently, all the figures have this issue, but mine definitely has some shading issues when it comes to the wings. But overall, we said to expect some things that, something to do with humans, something to do with good creatures. We see all of it. So, called it. Right there. You heard it here. Go to our predictions. We've also got Wave, the rest of them, 7 through 10, or actually 4 through 10, all on our site as to what we think will, what you can expect to see from them. So, really, really cool. It's a great game. You should definitely check it out if you're into fantasy at all, if you're into miniature games of fantasy. It's a really, really simple, fun game, well worth playing. It's Attack Wing from Wizkids, and these are out on the shelves now. So come back, we're going to go and review the Wyvern, we're going to review the Harpy, go through this entire release, the Wave 3 release from the company, and discuss and see if we can go 3 for 3 as far as predictions for the figures. So you can catch us every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all at Graphic Policy. We keep it nice and consistent. Till next time, keep it geeky.